Hi, and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we'll learn how to use the number input block available in Clappia. The number input block is used to capture numeric values in your app, such as prices, quantities, or set limits. Let's see how to use this better with the help of a simple example. In my dashboard, I will select this app. I've just started to create this app called Vendor Management, and I want to use the number input block to record the credit limit assigned to a vendor. Let's see how to add this to the app. We start by going to Design App, where we can edit the application. You can see all the earlier fields. Now I'll click on Add Field and select Number Input Block. This block can be configured on the right-hand panel. First, I'll give a name to this field. Let's say Credit Limit. Then we have the description. This will appear at the bottom of the field. It is used as a helpful guide for the user, or you could leave it blank. But I'll type in something. Next, we have Minimum Value. Set the minimum numeric value that the user can input in the app. Let's say I give 10,000, and optionally, I can set a maximum value to limit the range of input. Let's say 100,000. You can also give a default value that will appear in the field in the app, or you could also leave this blank. So I'll just give in 50,000 as the default value, and I'll click on Save. Let's see how this looks like in App Home. Here you can see the number input block is now available. The default value that I had given has appeared over here, as well as the description. The user can make changes to this. If I give in a value less than the minimum limit, it'll give me an error message. Or if I exceed the maximum value, again it'll give the error message. When users access the app, they'll see the credit limit field where they can input a numeric value within the specified range. The field ensures only valid numbers are entered. Now the number input block can also accept negative values. In this use case, it is not relevant, but you can do that. So let's say I remove the minimum value over here, remove the default as well, and go to App Home. It will accept negative values. Obviously for this example, this is not relevant, but this is just to show you that it does accept negative values. It will not accept any text nor symbols. Now, if you want this field to be a required field so that users do not skip this and make a submission, then in Design App, we have the option Required. If you enable this option and save it, you can see it is now denoted with a red star mark. So in App Home, if I were to fill in all the details and make a submission, you can see an error message has appeared. Therefore, the user necessarily needs to enter an input and then make a submission. Now, what if I want this field to appear only if the vendor type is manufacturer? Otherwise, this field should not appear in the app. Such display conditions can be implemented in the app. So going back to Design App, in the Number Inputs right panel, I'll go to the Advanced section, and here you can see Display this field if. Use this to conditionally display the field based on other inputs from the fields. If you're familiar with spreadsheet logic and condition, Clappia shares a similar library, and you can pull in field values dynamically with the help of field variables, which you can find at the top of every field in brackets. So now, as I mentioned, the vendor type should be selected as manufacturer, then this should be displayed. So display this field if at the rate to pull up the field name, vendor type, which corresponds to this field, equals to manufacturer. You'll get an additional option that says retain value if hidden. Decide whether to retain the value if this field were to become hidden through some requirements. Normally, you keep this enabled. I'll save it and go to App Home. You can now see that the number input field is no longer visible in the app. If I were to select service provider or distributor, nothing happens. But if I were to select manufacturer, it appears. Now, let's say I make a submission in the app. I'll just give in some random values. Now I'll click on Submit. You can view all the submissions under the Submissions tab if you have the appropriate access. Typically, app creators will have access to the Submissions tab. Click on a submission and a right-hand panel will appear capturing all the details. Now over here, I will be able to edit the number input field. If you want to restrict your users from doing that, you can go back to the Design app, and under the Advanced section, we have Allow values to be changed after initial submission. If you disable this, save it, and if I go back to the Submissions tab, here I will no longer be able to make any edits. This number input field will also work the same on the Clappia mobile app. If you haven't downloaded it already, you can do so either on Play Store or App Store. And the moment you create your app, edit it, or give access to your users, it'll be live and ready to use. So this is how you configure the number input block. If you have any questions or need further assistance with this feature or on any other feature in Clappia, you can reach out to us by clicking on Request Support. Thank you.